When you're trying to choose something online, a car, a hotel, really anything, what's the actual goal? You might think it's about finding the single best option. But what if the real goal isn't about making the right choice, but making a confident one? Oh, you know the feeling. You're staring at hundreds of options, dozens of filters, and after 20 minutes of clicking around, you just close the tab. That feeling of being totally paralyzed by choice, it's a universal frustration for sure. And it's not just a feeling, it is a massive business problem. A 2005 study cited in this research found that only 1.6% of visits to an e-commerce site actually end in a purchase. A huge reason for that? A lack of confidence that just makes us give up. So what is really going on here? Well, a fascinating PhD thesis from 2007 frames this problem as a conflict between two totally different ways of helping people decide. It's a clash between acting like a robot and acting like a guide.
So, on one side, you have the robot analyst. It's trying to calculate the single, mathematically perfect answer based on your inputs. It's purely prescriptive. On the other side, you have the human guide. This is more like a conversation. It doesn't just give you an answer. It helps you understand the landscape of options so you can find your own way.
The robot analyst's approach can feel pretty cold and detached, right? In the thesis' example, the analyst literally says, "I will ask you a series of questions, and, at the end, I will tell you which should be your best choice." It just assumes you can perfectly list all your preferences right up front.
But the human guide, who's modeled after a helpful salesperson, starts completely differently. It asks this really open-ended question: do you have an idea of what you are looking for? This invites a dialogue. It acknowledges that, hey, maybe you don't know exactly what you want yet. And this contrast gets right to the heart of what we're actually looking for from these online systems. It highlights the difference between two really key goals: accuracy and confidence.
For years and years, the main goal for search and recommendation systems was decision accuracy. This just means finding the one item that scores the highest based on the filters you clicked. It's all about getting the math right.
But the more important, more human goal is decision confidence. This is about your own certainty that you've seen the options, you've understood the trade-offs, and you've made a choice that's right for you. You don't just want the answer, you want to feel good about the answer. So if confidence is the goal, how do you build it? Well, the thesis proposes a brilliant and actually pretty simple solution. When a user's perfect item doesn't exist, don't just say no. Instead, explain the trade-offs. Let's just walk through a quick example. Say you're searching for a used car. First things first, the budget. Under 10,000 euros. Simple enough. Next, you add a personal preference. You've always wanted a blue car. You add that filter, and the results start to narrow a bit. And finally, a non-negotiable, it must have an airbag. You've now defined your perfect car. This is it. And then you see this, the single most frustrating result online: 0 items found. Ugh, this is where most people just give up. The system has completely failed to be a guide. It just gave you a dead end. But what if, instead of that brick wall, the system did two things? First, it identifies exactly why your search failed. It shows you the conflict between your criteria. Then, it suggests relaxations, basically ways you could loosen your requirements to actually get a result. And this is how it makes the trade-offs crystal clear. The system could show you, look, to get a blue car with an airbag, you'll probably need to increase your budget to 14,000 euros. Or, if you want to stick to your budget and still get that airbag, you might have to consider a block car. Suddenly, you're not stuck, you're empowered. You understand the market, and you can make an informed choice that you actually feel confident about. Now, you might be thinking, this research is from 2007. That's a lifetime ago in internet years. But the core principle here is more relevant than ever, because while the technology has obviously changed a lot, the human psychology of making a choice hasn't. That need for confidence is timeless, whether you're talking to a simple filter or a super complex AI. Ultimately, the best systems, whether we're talking about a simple website filter or a sophisticated AI chatbot, they don't just spit out an answer. They act as a guide. They explain the why behind the recommendations, they clarify the trade-offs, and they build your confidence so you can commit to a decision. So it leaves us with something to think about. The next time you find yourself endlessly scrolling and comparing options, just ask yourself, am I really looking for that 1 in a million perfect item? Or am I just looking for the knowledge and clarity I need to finally make a confident choice?